times I've been used having it like once in a while, I'll see the light come on. And that's not too, it's not too much of a
The first time I've used this golden acrylic,
Seems to be.
so it seems to be working out okay.
We're in there, we're sitting down, there's 2 young teenage girls sitting
You can push the paint where you want it when it's liquid like that, but as you can see, I mean, I'm not spending a lot of time.
Yeah, but it's also defining different parts of the horse,
Right.
am I correct?
Yep. And you can still see the underpainting underneath it, and the underpainting is helping. You can move the paint, like if it blobs up, and
Yeah.
you can move it where you want it. You can do this with oil paints like this, but not as fast, and it's not as clean and
Okay.
easy.
you count to 10.
So basically, my philosophy at this point is to get most of everything done quickly, and then go back in if I want to with oil paints. And
All right, so Paul, as you're saying, use the water base for an undercoat, and then you're coming back with your oils.
eventually I would probably come back in with oils. And then you can decide also if you want to, bump up the contrast a little bit at this point or not. But as you can see, if you put, this burnt sienna over the dark areas, it darkens them.
Yeah.
And then over the light areas, it pops out the color.
It's never the whole thing. You need to do it the stupid time.
And with the oil paint, with the acrylics, you can do thin washes, just continue to do thin washes. Let it dry, and put another wash over it, and it builds up the pigment very slowly. And then you have much more control over what you're doing this way.
This is basically the same thing, though, for like 30 millimeter flats, the same way.
It's a little bit different with the 30 millimeters because you don't have as much places, you don't have as much coverage necessary. So you're almost just placing dots of color when you're doing a 30 millimeter piece. You can start out doing washes on a 30 millimeter, but you're going to switch very quickly to just placing dots of color, because there's just not a lot of detail, on them.
Let me ask you this, on the 30 millimeters, say the oil, say you're using oils, you're primed, you're going to use the oils, put a flat coat on. Do you use the oil paint straight, or do you thin it? You follow me?
I thin it down quite a bit, actually.
Okay.
I probably oftentimes thin it down too much. Because what happens when you thin it down too much, you lose all the binders that will hold the pigment on. So then I have to go back and do it again. Because I do like to paint in thin glazes.
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking you, when I visited Bill Horan that time up in the Bronx, he was showing me take the figure, it's 30 millimeter, right? Then he'll just spread the oil out like this with his palette knife. Then he'll go in and say green, and like this. He's like tapping.
Yeah. Yep. That's Jim Horan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good technique for the
30
the small ones. Yeah, because you're not painting detail on a 30 millimeter.
Okay.
It's almost an impressionistic style where you're laying in, dots of color next to each other.
And then just blending them or whatever.
Yeah. So what I've done here is I've made my, this is what I call my black that I make with a dark blue and a brown.
All right.
All right, and I'm going to pull some of this sienna in now to darken the sienna. And I'm still working pretty thin. And now I'm just going to go into the shadow areas.
Oh, yeah.
The darker areas with it. And because it's already dark under there, on the underlayer, you don't have to make as much of an effort. See, it's just all it does is enhance what was already there with the underpainting.
I see what you mean, yeah.
And then let's take a little bit of the sienna, put it on the light area. I'm thinning it down quite a bit, and then feather it into each other.
Oh, I see.
And it's all, this is a very rough stage at this point. You know, but at each layer I get tighter and tighter, I'll put it that way. Or I get more careful with what I'm doing.
I like that kind of stuff.
Here's,
Have you ever been to did you go northeast out of
I like the acrylics too because you can lift it, if you put too much on there, you can lift it off pretty easy with a dry brush. It just sucks it right up.
I see that.
And then here's a little more dark.
early part of the 20th century. And the airplane in the world is there. And he's got a
I painted this figure, I don't know, several times. And I can't remember what I used to. I did remove the paint on this one. The first, you know, because this was one of the first flats I tried to paint, and I did remove the paint off it. But I think it was acrylic, so I just used like Windex.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about the easy off. Just put it in a plastic container, spray the heck out of it, close the lid, and walk away.
Yeah, and it'll take the oil paint and enamels too. I think it'll take the enamels right off.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, you can see the
But
definition
see how
already.
see how fast this is painting up by doing it this way. And like I said, I mean, this is a stage where you don't have to spend a lot of time with it because each layer, like I say, is going to pick up a little more pigment, and you get a little bit tighter, you know, with each layer. But right now, I just want to quickly lay it in and get an idea of where I'm going with it.
Oh yeah, you can see the horse right away. Look at that.
That's not, that wasn't, somebody pointed that out to me when I first saw it, because I had never seen garbage jackets.
And the reason why I like doing it this way is that I can do all my thinking ahead of time of where I want the shadows, and then I can do this really quickly. I don't have to sit here, you know, oh well, which way is the light coming, and all of that. It's already been defined by the underpainting. This side's going to be the heavy shadow side, so it's going to be darker than you know what we got going on over here on this side.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
See, I've already gone in here and done. I did a wash of a lighter brown in the highlight areas, and we'll do that in a few minutes. I'll let it dry, and then you can really see how dramatic it is. You know, just using 3 colors. I know people that sit with a hairdryer. There's, you know, but that's just another thing to have cluttered up my desk. In Las Vegas, I don't need a hairdryer. You just wait like 1 minute.
You could also work on maybe 2 other figures too.
Well, and that's pretty much what I do. Especially at this stage, I'll have 3 or 4 of them primed.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you just go in, and especially with the underpainting too. I'll have 3 or 4 of them going at one time because this, like I said, you can do this really fast.
Yeah.
And then those other figures will sit for a year only in that stage. Now here's another technique that I use oftentimes. See this cross hatching?
Yeah.
See, it's almost like it's very similar to feathering, only it's not completely blended out. And then you can do it to the contour of the shape of the object you're painting. Like this has got a nice curve to it. This one has a nice curve to it here. But the paint is a little bit thicker on this pass that I'm doing because I'm now going in and really, you know, kind of bumping up the contrast a little.
No, mine was better. To mean, I don't.
And it's kind of like a feathering process.
It's just, I don't think it's as good as the stuff.
This is, like drawing with a pencil.
Yeah.
Drawing and shading with a pencil.
You can just put all that stuff in the box if you want, and move it to another table. Move it to another table.
No, just go ahead, pack it, make yourselves at home, it's okay. We were just...